Hello, my spiritual lovers out there. Yes, I am greatly and deeply honored by your presence, for my presence speaks for itself. Yes, the rebel is gone and the lover has made its way through. Yes, um, the divine masculine has stepped through within, and I am whole. Um, so basically, if just wanted to say this is a space where we lead by example. Basically, there's been a lot of energetical shifts happening. The new earth is here. Yeah, it is here. The split has happened. And the only way to access it is through within, through love, right? What is love? Love is truth. Truth is God. Love is God. Yeah. Uh, so as you are facing these shifts out there, the only way to navigate it, right? You feel like everything is going wrong in your life, but really what is happening is just Mother Cosmos guiding you within so you can access the new earth. So do not get lost in resentment, do not get lost in hatred, do not try to blame or condemn anybody, because everyone is a projection of your inner world, right? It's a reflection of yourself. And the only way to navigate this shift is to remain and anchor yourself in love, okay? Not the pretense of love, not pretending to be nice for the sake of being liked by everybody, but anchoring yourself in truth, in protecting yourself, in love, right? Um, and this is the real lesson. So I know it's been a while. I myself have been navigating these shifts, and as Mother Cosmos tells me to stand still, I have been learning to anchor myself in love even deeper, to make way for the divine masculine within. And as that union happen, you are witnessing the new version of myself. Yes, I find myself really falling in love with me, you know? So, and you have to appreciate the process, because as, as you navigate these shifts, it's very important not to condemn yourself, right? It's very important to journal your thoughts and your progression, because journaling allows you to see what those shifts within, right? Unless you see it, you cannot outgrow it, right? So it is very important. The first and most important step is to journal it, to speak it, to write it down, or to paint it. Journaling can happen in various ways. If for you expressing yourself is through art, you have to figure out the best way to release and to look at yourself, right? So on this journaling that I am making today, I am being guided by my heart to speak about my marriage. Yeah, that's before I start, I'll have to emphasize that I am talking about the old version of myself. And again, this is a safe environment. I am only talking about myself, projections that I have made into my surrounding, right? There's nobody to condemn, there's nobody to blame. It's just my perspective that I am sharing, right? So let's see what gets revealed as I speak about this, because I have to flow with it. I navigate this thing intuitively. Yes, I have printed some emails because I put everything in writing, which is very important, right? Because as you're navigating these shifts and you are speaking your truth, it is very important to put it in writing, because these people, okay, as you are navigating this, right, they're gonna come back and they're gonna challenge you, okay? And it is very important that you don't question yourself. That's why putting it in writing is the most important part of this transition, right? And unless someone addresses or speaks truth about what you have written, okay, do not engage. Keep your boundaries firm, right? Because as you express these things, these people are going to ignore it. And a couple of years after, they're going to come back and start acting and reintroducing themselves without addressing what has been expressed. And it is up to you if it's a test, right? Either you respond or you try to be nice, or you hold your boundaries. Unless someone acknowledges in their own truth, right? Unless it's acknowledged, which shows their ability and their commitment to growth as well, right? Because there's nobody to condemn. You are speaking your truth. But if that truth is ignored and the pattern are reintroduced to you, and you just keep going and you engage with them for the sake of being nice, they're gonna come with like immense flattery and just act like if nothing has happened. Again, that is the test. Mother Cosmos is testing you to see if you choose to anchor yourself in love, or you choose to anchor yourself in a pretense of love for the sake of being nice, which is really survival, right? This is what we call survival. Trying to be nice, trying to be polite, so other people can like you and can rave about you. Yeah, that's called survival. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this thing. It's coming. So basically, John, my ex-husband, and I have met, I think when I was 25. We worked together for, I met him at my first accounting job out of college, at his uncle company. He was basically working at his uncle's company, a company that was created by his grandfather. So basically we both started the same year. So as I started working at that company, what has happened is that he will constantly sit at my desk, right? So as I started, he would sit at my desk and would show me racing videos over and over again, right? So at that point, my people around the office started joking and talking behind my back and teasing me, right? Like they would say, we've never seen John sit at anybody's desk before. We think he likes you. And every time he would sit at my desk, everybody would start laughing. And he would just show me his racing videos. He was very passionate about racing. And as he will ask me, at a point he asked me, where are you from? He would ask me questions. He was very interested in me. And that's when I told him I was born and raised in Benin. And he would do research on Benin. And he would tell me, you don't quite look like the Beninese I see on the pictures. And then that's when he came out. I explained to him that I am biracial. My mom was Romanian and my dad is from Benin, and I was born and raised in Benin. So he will learn French and email me in French and to show me that he discovered that he made improvements. So at a point, I just asked him point blank, uh, do you want to go out together? You know, I took charge because I was just tired of people uh, laughing and teasing me at work. It became uncomfortable. So I was just asking point blank, would you like to just go out together? You want to go to a movie? You want to do something? And we went out, right? So as we went out on our first date, I offered to pay for dinner. I will go into my dating with men later, right? Because that is the test I put for men. I was not interested in anybody being macho, any macho man. As you know, I have shared what I grew up with. So for me, the test, in order to see if I really want to commit, I was looking for a commitment, a relationship. I was on my own. I was finally looking to build the family I wanted. I wanted that foundation. So as I offered to pay, he let me pay, which was a surprise. I was like, huh, because he was the first man who allowed me to pay for dinner on our first date. So for me, that was already he got my attention, right? So we went out again on the second date. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna pay for dinner. And he was like, sure, okay. You know? So I keep getting shocked, right? I was like, who is this guy? This was a first for me, for a guy to just let me pay. So I was like, something is not right. I'm gonna I'm gonna see, you know. So the third day, I decided I've offered again to pay for dinner, and he let me pay. So at that point, you know, my armor started melting, right? Because for some reason, this guy was not challenged by a woman paying for dinner, you know. So he was not challenged by a woman, you know, standing on her own, you know, taking charge. And that helped me open up, because I did not want to be taken care of by anybody. I just wanted the freedom to be myself. I didn't want any pretense of what man is supposed to be. I just wanted a partner. I wanted someone to collaborate with, to build a life of excitement, of freedom, of being who we are, right? And you know, no matter how many times I offered to pay, this guy was not challenged by it. So it helped me open up. And as we went into this relationship, right, at a point, I witnessed his uncle belittling him and screaming at him in front of the whole office. And John will keep his head down as his uncle will berate him in front of everybody. As I witnessed that, at a point, I asked John, why do you let your uncle talk to you this way? You know, it's unacceptable. And I am having a hard time witnessing this. You know, so it is then that he explained to me that he had previously, before he started with the company, he had previously worked as a mechanic. He wanted to be a mechanic, and because he was socially awkward as a mechanic, the way the work is given to you, it is basically the receptionist that will allocate the work as it comes in to the people. And most likely, no work was coming his way because he did not quite know how to interact socially, right? So he dropped out of school After 2 years, he failed. He dropped out because his girlfriend, he was in love with someone, and basically she broke up with him and returned to her ex. And as this thing surfaced, he went into deep depression, right? And his mom stepped in, signed him up for therapy. So he went through therapy for quite a while. And then his mom went to ask her brother, his uncle basically, to give him a job in the family business. And that's how he started within the same year as me, right? And as he started in the company, he expressed that his uncle sat him down and made sure to convey to him that he will never, no matter what he does, own the business. So basically, as his uncle was forced by his mom to give him a position in the company, he made sure to express his rage at John any chance he got by belittling him and screaming at him. And that was really quite hard to witness, right? But then John explained that his grandfather, who was the one who created the business, did the same thing, which is why John never wanted to work for the family business. But as he failed as a mechanic and struggled in pursuing his studies, his mom came and stepped in and put him in. That was the last alternative. She insisted that his uncle give him a job, and basically he had no other choice but to take in the berating and belittling that was imposed on him by his uncle, right? So which was quite interesting, and for me, I admired his ability to just remain calm as his uncle would scream at him. I was in admiration, because he will just take it and then just get up and continue as if nothing happened. And for me, it reminded me of myself, because that's what I grew up with, right? And I'll get into my childhood later on. So for me, what I perceive is that this guy has the ability to to face any adversity with dignity and composure. That's how I viewed it. So it's like, I didn't even know, he just kept passing tests, right? He really, I became even more bonded with him, because for me, it's like he was like a reflection of me. So as the dating progressed, at a point, I buzzed off my hair. I had long hair, and I buzzed all of it off, and I stopped wearing makeup. So one day, I just showed up at the office. Yes, because I was like, I realized that I was spending too much time putting on makeup in the morning, and I was like, what is the point of me putting on makeup all the time? If I want to go out there, I want to go out there and be appreciated naturally, the way I look, right? As you can see, this is au naturel, you see? You have to appreciate the way I look first. And if the peacock chooses to come out, I wear makeup. Yes, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, but I found it exhausting waking up every morning and spending time putting on makeup to go to work. I'm like, what's the point of it? I am not quite sure who I am trying to please at work. So at first, John was shocked. He was like, so you just shaved your head, buzzed off all your head, and stopped wearing makeup out of nowhere? And I was like, yeah, it's my choice. I am the one who decides if I want to wear makeup or shave or buzz off my hair. It's my body. Nobody has a say on that. If you want to break up with me, you are free to break up. You go fuck off. So he responded, his response was like, no, 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 I still find you very beautiful. For me, change is nothing. I still want to date you. So that response really, it's like no matter what I do, this guy just kept having the right answers, right? So as this was my first accounting job, I was basically making $10 an hour, right? Uh, I had an apartment in Harlem on 110th Street. So my rent was very low and everything was very tight, right? I paid my rent. I had enough to, I was living, for me, I was living very well. Everything was very tight financially, but I was flowing because, you know, I had a plan, right? My dad left the country because my dad was here as a diplomat. So as my dad got transferred to another country, he as an ambassador in Ethiopia, he offered to take me with him so he can get me a job at the UN headquarters in Switzerland as an accountant. And I was like, fuck no, I'm not going with you. I'm gonna forge my own independence and I'm gonna forge my own career. I'm gonna be on my own. So my dad left and set me up with the apartment and everything. I had a small studio that fit me. It was perfect. And, you know, John and I were continuing to date, and at a point he would make fun of me making $10 an hour. He couldn't figure out how anybody could live on a $10 an hour salary, right? For him, it was inconceivable, basically, because as his mom stepped in and begged his uncle to give him a job, he started with a very decent salary, you know. So as he would tease me, he was like, I don't know, how do you do it with $10 an hour? And I would just look at him and I was like, yeah, okay, challenge accepted. Yeah, we'll see. It's just my first accounting job. Doesn't mean that that's what I'm gonna earn my whole life, right? So it is at that juncture that my sister Cheska came to New York, and I shared this already. And, you know, without my approval, came to spend time in New York with me, and my phone bill went to like a $400 or $500 within a couple of weeks, which created a lot of distress because I did not know how I was gonna pay that off. And for her, it was nothing because basically for her, all she does is just call my dad, and my dad pays for things, right? And as I am forging myself, you know, I handle everything on my own, right? So as that has happened, and I sent Cheska back home, I took a second job at tech. I forgot the name of that company, but it was basically a tech company where people buy electronics and things like that. And sometimes I would call John to help me because sometimes people ask for stuff and I didn't know what it was. Those things don't make any sense to me. I'm just like, I'm an intuitive person. When you talk about certain cables, certain apps, all I hear is blah, blah, blah. So when I say blah, 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 when I'm telling a story, it means I don't really care about those things, right? It makes no sense whatsoever to me. So John will help me. I will call him and I will say, a customer is asking me for this. What does that mean? And he will help me. So we really got to really bond. You know, I relied on him and I started spending time. I would sleep at his place because he drove. I lived in the city, so I would just take the train and the bus because our company was in the city. And he would drive, so sometimes I'll spend the night at his place. We'll drive to work together. Nobody in the office knew about our relationship except one of my close friends who was an accountant like me. And we'll make coffee together without anybody knowing. We'll kiss each other and we'll have like these little moments with each other in the office. So, you know, he was really my first relationship where, you know, we really committed. It was serious. You know, at times I just slept at his place for weeks, you know, without even going back to my place. We were basically living together. And it is at that point that I started noticing his masturbation, his porn addiction, right? It started coming up and it created a lot of conflict at times between us. And as he expressed, he was like, it means nothing. This is just something I do for release. And because I was not ready to share my sexual abuse with him, you know, I will express to him that it really bothered me. So, you know, he will erase, he had a whole file. On his computer of different type of porns, and you know, he was really into orgies. That was his favorite, you know. And orgies, what does he mean? Is that this person just wants to fuck anything that moves, right? That's basically what it is. It took me years to really process all of that, right? So at a point we had a huge argument. Even before the argument happened, I was basically living with him, and my brother Rogelio reached out. He was struggling and he was stopping by in New York and needed a place to crash for a while. And he basically reached out to me and asked if he could stay at my place for a while. So I basically just gave him the key to my apartment, moved my clothes at John's place, and let my brother use my place for about a month or a month and a half, I think. So as John and I got into an argument regarding his porn and his addiction, after that argument, I refused to sleep in the bedroom with him. I said I would sleep on the couch. And he insisted and I refused. So as I laid on the couch to sleep, I realized that it was unfair that I keep berating this guy because I was not telling him the truth about what I went through, right? So I went into the bedroom trying to reconcile with him and saw him masturbating to porn again. It's like within 5 minutes. After the argument, I was just like, I'm gonna sleep in the living room. And he was like, please, Jen, come and lay with me. And I was like, no. And he went into the bedroom. And 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes after that, I was like, okay, let us make up. Let's move forward. You know, let's see. Let's talk about it even further. And as I walked into the bedroom, he was just sitting and masturbating, watching porn on his computer. So I exploded. I was like, I packed up my bag and I was like, just drop me home. This is not gonna work. We are done. And as he drove, and at that point, my brother has left and gave me back the key to my apartment. And I have not yet, I have not been to my place until that night. So as John dropped me off, and I went into my place, as soon we broke up, everything was done. I was like, I never want to talk to you again. Let's keep it professional because at the end of the day, we work together. So we parted ways. It was in a friendly manner. It was not no drama. And as I stepped into my apartment, I wasn't even aware of energies at this point, right? As soon as I stepped into my apartment, the stench and the disgust that I experienced cannot be described. I just started throwing up. The state within which my brother left the apartment was so horrendous. I've seen shit into places that I didn't even know that shit can go there. you know, I, you know, ah, I started throwing up, and I was like, I cannot, the repulsion that I felt was so intense. It was like, so I called John and I was like, bring me back home. That was my statement. I was like, I want to come back home. And from that day on, I have never slept in my apartment again. Yeah. It's only now that the dots are getting connected, you see. Yeah, my brother Rogelio. Yeah, things are getting exposed. Anyway, so from that point on, John and I basically moved in together. And for him as well, I told him his apartment, I cannot live in a place like that because it was dark and it was filthy. And he jokes about it because the first time I went to his place as we were dating, I cleaned up the whole place. And he would joke, he was like, I've never seen this, nobody I've ever dated came to clean my place. He was so filthy, he lived in that place for years and never washed his bed sheets. Basically, it's like the level of filth there was also unacceptable. So basically, we moved in after a year working together. We basically moved in together, and I left my work. I left the company where I was working out at with him, and I started building my career. I applied at other jobs, and as I just within 5 years, actually we let's not diverge. So as I kept building my career, my objective basically was to get to a hedge fund, find a job in a hedge fund, because hedge funds are more international companies, and they sponsor you for citizenship. So basically, I still was on a diplomatic visa. My visa still had a few years on my visa, and that was my focus, to build my career to the point where I get